right. The victorious English force team were joined by David Bryant for a celebration that went on well into the night. You reckon you've earned it, John?
Doogie, is your riposa.
You're very Meanwhile, in a quieter corner of the same bar, two rather thoughtful New Zealanders. Hello, gentlemen. Kira, you must be a little disappointed in your fours team, but do you think this man's going to go one better tomorrow?
Oh, I hope that Peter does go one better tomorrow. We're naturally disappointed to lose this afternoon, but we hope that we can get revenge for the gold tomorrow and go home with one medal of every category that they've got here.
Peter, there's going to be a big Scottish crowd tomorrow, obviously. Most of them are hoping that your opponent's going to win. Does that bother you at all?
No, I played quite a lot of rugby in my earlier days and always seemed to play better when the crowd was against us, and I happened to play on a side that was very good, which invariably has the crowds against you, so that won't worry me tomorrow.
What about the weather? Because the greens are so much heavier than you would have wanted.
Yeah, this weather at the moment is pretty disappointing, but that's nothing, we can control that, and I'll just have to go out there and do my best.
It's a replay of the game in which Willie won his Commonwealth gold medal. It wasn't a good day for you. Obviously, you'd like to take revenge tomorrow.
Well, it would be nice. Brisbane was almost a home crowd for me because I spent a lot of time in Queensland on the Gold Coast, so it'd be nice to get back at Willie here in front of the Scottish crowd.
He's got to get in. He's got to get in. Otherwise, he's finished. Bronze and silver from the Games. Back at home. Here he goes. He's gone wide, but he's got the arc, has he? Oh! It's running and running and running, but it's there, surely. That's there. It's all over. Willie Wood, gold medalist.
I'll never forget the game, actually. But tomorrow is a different game. I'll be ready for Peter when he comes along.
Having everyone virtually on your side as the Scot playing in Scotland, Willie, does that make it easier for you or actually harder?
No, it doesn't make it easier, but it does help. Them roaring on behind you. But I've had hard games all week, and they have lifted me, and helped me a bit. But you've got to do it on the green. They don't hit the balls near the jack. I've got to do that myself.
Are you quite happy with your form, Willie? You seem to be playing very well.
I'm pleased with my form. I think I've played very, very well, actually, throughout the whole singles tournament.
And of course, turning to Joe Bogle, the team manager, thanks to Willie and Jim Boyle and the other three lads, Scotland have won the big one, the Leonard Trophy.
Yes, Dougie, we've won the Leonard Trophy. We came to Aberdeen as a team, we've stuck together as a team, and I'm delighted to say that we have managed to win the Supreme Trophy, the team trophy. Delighted.
Great. And the largest crowd ever to watch a game of bowls in the United Kingdom gathered in the perfect setting of Westbourne Park on a sunny Saturday afternoon for this World Championship singles final. And Peter Bellis, of course, will be more than pleased to see the sunshine because, as you heard him say in the team hotel last night, the rain of yesterday afternoon really wasn't to his liking at all, but the weather changed dramatically overnight, and it really is most pleasant afternoon. So this the first bowl of this World Singles Final. First man to 21 shots. Bellis having won the toss, taken the jack, and the 32-year-old former number 8 forward for Wanganui returned to bowls at the end of his rugby career, meets his old rival Willie Wood of Scotland. Willie naturally the favourite of this home crowd, and looking to follow up his Commonwealth Games gold medal with the World Championship gold medal as well. Willie has the psychological advantage over his opponent here. They've met only twice previously. One was the match in which Willie won his gold medal in Brisbane, and then Wood went back and won the Australian Masters, and Peter Bellis was one of his victims on that occasion. So 2 out of 2 for Willie Wood so far, and that's a good ball there by the Scotsman.
Bellis won the toss on this first end and decided to take the jack. In other words, he can choose what length he plays. He's chosen a 3/4 length jack. But of course, in taking the jack on the first bowl of this first end, he gives the last bowl of the end to Willie Wood, and the last delivery always very important. Whatever the position after the first 7 bowls have been played, the bowler with the last delivery can alter all that. This is Willie's 3rd delivery. Willie playing, of course, with the blue discs for Scotland, and the New Zealander Peter Bellis with the black and white discs. His big ambition playing rugby was to become an All Black. He didn't achieve that. He had a knee injury which curtailed his rugby playing career, but he scaled the heights of the bowls world, and here he is in the World Singles final.
That's a good ball by Peter Bellis. Encouraging start for the New Zealander. Just to remind you that this match today, the climax of these 2.5-week-long World Championships, a sort of bowls World Cup, I suppose. And already the USA have taken the pairs gold medal. Ireland took the triples, and as you may have seen yesterday in the pouring rain here in Aberdeen, England got the better of New Zealand in the fours final. So 3 different countries have taken the 3 golds.
Wood then with his final delivery, at least 1 shot down. Bellis might be holding 2. Well, Willie Wood just a little unlucky to find a gap. And his first blood to the lanky New Zealander, Peter Bellis. Psychologically very important to win the first end, and Bellis goes better than that and actually scores 2 shots.
That was the first end that will give some satisfaction to both bowlers. Both settled very quickly to a reasonable line and length, got over that nervous first end, looking forward to a cracking game.
Jack high, Bellis's first bowl, level with the jack. Jack high, of course, a famous bowling term which has given the name to some famous competitions. Bellis himself has won the Australian Jack high and the Irish Jack high competitions, and did very well in this summer's England Jack high at Worthing, which you'll be able to see on your screens in October.
Willie Wood, second delivery of this second end.
And a very poor second delivery from Willie Wood. Is it the pressure of the situation? Is it the nerves getting to him? I wonder. 2 good bowls so far from Bellis. That's not bad. Intentionally perhaps putting one round the back. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt anyway. The 2 shots are his. His is the position as well now. Nothing for Willie Wood but a dead length draw. This is better. He's well played. He's unlucky. A firmer contact was what Willie needed to stay in the head. Still 2 to New Zealand.
And Willie Wood, of course, a notoriously slow starter. It's well known that Willie tends to fall behind early on. Did so in his final section match here against Sasobransky of Israel. In fact, was 6-1 behind earlier on, much to the consternation of the Scottish crowd here in Aberdeen. But obviously he came back, won the match 21-18, and that took him through to this final.
Seven bowls delivered on this end. 2 shots at the moment to New Zealand, but an excellent chance for Willie Wood for Scotland to slot a saving bowl in and score 1 for himself. Nothing in the way. Backhand draw.
Wood a little unlucky again not to make contact on the shot ball. 2 more to Peter Bellis, so that's a very good start indeed for the New Zealander. He now leads by 4 shots to 0 after 2 ends. And that slow start of Willie Wood's once again in evidence.
Yes, very much so. Willie will be rather worried that none of his 4 bowls near a length, although the 4th bowl almost collected the jack. I'm quite certain he'll be trying to bowl a length. He'll be a little worried that he hasn't settled to a length after the 2 ends.
Both these players with identical records in reaching this final. Just to remind you, 22 countries represented in this championship, 2 sections of 11, and both Wood and Bellis won 9 out of their 10 section games, only 1 defeat each. Wood losing to Canada and Peter Bellis losing to Jersey.
Well, that's a poor start. And the first bowl of the head, vital. It establishes the pattern of the end, and Willie Wood has the opportunity of gaining the initiative. He's taken it. That's what Willie wanted. Great relief to him and to the Scottish crowd here at Aberdeen. Bellis is after him. Great try.
That's much better. 2 shots, and the shot ball also tucked in immediately behind the jack, and that will bring both men down to have a look at this head.
Yes, before Willie Wood's second delivery, the jack was accessible to Bellis, who could have trailed it for 2. Wood will be delighted to have tapped his bowl behind the jack, preventing that trail, making things very difficult for Bellis. Bellis will be hoping to bowl second shot here. He won't be too concerned about getting shot, but he'd like to get in there with a saving bowl. Bellis there making sure that he reached. He didn't want to be short, but in making sure, in guaranteeing that he was up, he pushed it a little too hard, and that contact on the Wood bowl makes it no easier for the New Zealander. He's still 2 down. Willie Wood, a straightforward chance of making 3 shots with this. He's short, he's not up.
That's very disappointing for the Scotsman.
I have a feeling Willie Wood bowled that intentionally short, but not as short as that. He'd have liked to have bowled it some 2 feet short of the jack in the count and in the way.
Well, Peter Bellis, like all New Zealanders, loves to fire, does so at the slightest opportunity, so we'll see a lot of those kind of shots this afternoon, I would imagine. And a reasonably successful first drive by Peter Bellis, as we'll see here. Takes out one of Wood's bowls and now lies 1 down.
One of the most accurate and one of the hardest firers in the game, Peter Bellis. He tells me that in New Zealand he put a man in hospital with a gash on his knee in one game, held up the game for some 20 minutes, he said. I warned him, he said. I told him I was going to fire. And Willie Wood will be very disappointed with that. That bowl should have been in. He should have counted 2. But at least Willie Wood is on the card with 1 shot, New Zealand on 4.
Yes, Willie achieved a lot on that end, but it was with his first 2 bowls only. He'd be extremely disappointed that his 3rd and 4th bowls were so short. So as for Peter Bellis, gave the evidence yet again. New Zealand never afraid to drive. The opportunity was there. He took it. Took one of Willie Wood's scoring bowls out of the head. Another of the things that Willie's achieved, of course, is that he can now dictate the length of both mat and jack, and immediately he brings the mat up a little further.
And of course, if you hear applause, which doesn't appear to be merited by what you see in this match, then obviously it's because there are other matches taking place, not only on this green, but on the other 2 greens in this Westburn Park complex. The playoff matches and the minor placings in singles and 4s. David Bryant will play for bronze against Kenny Williams of Australia in the singles, and there's a good opening ball by Wood. That's a toucher.
And at the risk of boring those people who are regular bowls viewers, a toucher gets a chalk mark. If the toucher goes in the ditch at any stage during this end, it remains a live bowl. Good second bowl for Bellis. That's good play. Well, a yard heavy, but it could be a key bowl. Bellis has 2 deliveries left, and a trail could bring that bowl into the count. 1 to Scotland at present. Good bowl here from Willie. Can he trail it around the corner? Well, the crowd recognise what a good position that is from Willie Wood. We were talking about the trail for 2 shots, but the trail for Bellis still on, but Willie Wood's bowl there stops the back bowl counting in all probability.
Peter Bellis, now a full-time professional bowler, former railway fitter, but he now plays bowls full-time. Willie Wood, on the other hand, still a self-employed motor mechanic, but obviously spending more and more of his time on the bowling green.
Well, that wasn't intentional, but woods round the back are always valuable against a man like Peter Bellis. Bellis must try to draw the shot. He's close to it. Can he trail it? Oh, he doesn't need a trail. He's drawn the shot. A great bowl there from Bellis.
And look just how close that last bowl of Peter Bellis's was. Got a very good delivery, and that will count 1 more shot to the New Zealander. Match score now going to 5-1 after the opening 4 ends. First man to 21, remember, will take the world title.
I think both bowlers have now forgotten the capacity crowd. They've become immersed in the technicalities and problems in playing in a highly competitive game of bowls for the World Championship. They're engrossed in that. They can forget the crowd more and more and become more involved in the game. Peter Bellis taking the mat up even further now.
And here's that final delivery by Peter Bellis on the last end, which gave him the shot. Lying one down at the time. And an absolutely dead length draw, which will do wonders for his confidence. And this the first bowl of the fifth end. Not much more than a minimum length jack.
Jimmy Davidson commented that Peter Bellis had taken the mat up even further than Willie Wood, and I feel that that is a psychological ploy on the part of the New Zealander. He's saying to Willie Wood, if your tactics are to take the mat up, I can do that as well, and I can beat you at your own game.
Well, let's see if he can. He's lying one shot down at the moment, but he's got a good ball here. Still looks like shot to Wood.
That's a very good delivery from Willie Wood. Not only is it shot, but it obscures the jack from the mat end. Bellis can no longer see the jack which he's aiming at, and he'll have to allow the bowl to bend around that short bowl. Bellis changes his hand. Slightly freer access for him on the backhand. Playing weight. Can he get back in time? No. Still 2 to Wood, and 3 of Bellis's bowls already been delivered. Wood has 2 to come, so by the time Bellis bowls his next delivery, he could well be facing a count of 3 and a possible 4 if he misses.
Good chance here then for Willie Wood. He's got it. 3 shots to the Scot. Peter Bellis coming down to have a look at just how problematical this situation is. Got a contrast in height between those two players, of course. Bellis at 6'3" and Wood at 5'6½".
Bellis, of course, not the tallest of the squad of 5 New Zealand players. Jim Scott, whom we saw in yesterday's fours final, measures 6'5". Bellis overdrawing, using a shade of weight. He's on the jack. He's got a great bowl. Well played.
That's a great saving ball. From 3 down, he's now lying 2. What a great delivery by Bellis. Well worth taking another look at that one. Playing the weight to pick up the jack and pushing it over onto his black and white ball and staying there for a second shot. What a good delivery.
And just when we were talking about Willie Wood scoring 4, here he is in trouble, 2 down. He's firing this time. He's got something. Yes! Well, he was on target. It was a very, very good bowl. The way he got shot was a little unorthodox. The jack springing back up the green. But he was on target all the way. Here he goes. Straight for it. The bowl hardly bending at all. On the jack. The jack goes forward to his own bowl. It's 2 to Willie Wood.
Well, you tend not to talk about the roar of the bowls crowd, but my goodness, we had it there, didn't we? 2 shots to Wood, and the margin in the match now back to 2 shots. New Zealand 5, Scotland 3.
That was a very exciting end. We had everything in that end. Minimum length jack, bat up the green, good drawing from Willie Wood, trail from Bellis, cracking far driving shot from Willie Wood that rather unusually brought the jack back up the green, but I thought that he deserved the 2 shots he scored, and he's got great determination, and we're going to see the best of Willie Wood now, I'm quite sure.
So 5 ends gone in this World Singles Final, and both players now really showing some tremendous skills. 5-3, Peter Bellis leads Willie Wood.
Bellis now bowling the backhand, aware that there's a Willie Wood bowl in the way. And perhaps that's in his mind. He's a little narrow, a little short. Well, that's not bad. A bowl a yard behind is much better than a bowl a yard in front, even though we saw that rather strange spring back of the jack up the green on the last end. That doesn't often happen. The jack normally travels one way only, and that's towards the back ditch. Well, Bellis' drawing has done it again. That's the shot. He had to avoid the front bowl of Willie Wood, and that's exactly what he did. Brilliant drawing play.
And although it's a very warm, sunny afternoon, as you can see, there is a fairly stiffish breeze blowing across the rink, as you can see by the flags there. Wood then, third delivery of the end.
Well, a good effort from Willie. Needed a yard of weight. Better chances for Willie Wood, of course, than for Peter Bellis on this end, because the short bowl of Willie Wood can quite easily be promoted. The bowl there, just 18 inches short of the jack, needs 1 turnover for shot position. And Bellis must be aware of that, and that's why he's bowling forehand now. He's achieved the shot by drawing around Wood's front bowl, but now he's not going to take the chance of knocking it in. It's a forehand draw. It's narrow, short, but that makes it more difficult for Wood. I'm sure Willie Wood wanted to bowl the backhand on this occasion, but I think he's probably changed his mind now. He'll take the open draw on the forehand.
And that's the Willie Wood family group watching this game. On the left of the picture, his young son Colin, his wife Morag, daughter Sylvia, and in the blue dress, that's his mum, that's Jenny. And in fact, Willie's late father, also Willie Wood, was Scottish champion in 1967. Willie himself played for that title 3 years later and was beaten in the final, and still rates that his biggest disappointment in bowls.
Yes, it's a strange fact that we've got a man here playing in the final of the World Championships who has never, in fact, won his national title. But I think that speaks volumes for the competitiveness of Scottish singles play. An awful lot of good players in Scotland, and it's a very hard title to win.
As that's borne out, perhaps, David, by the fact that the last 2 world indoor champions, John Watson and Bob Sutherland, didn't actually make the Scottish team for these outdoor World Championships. That may have caused a few raised eyebrows at the time. This is a good ball by Bellis. 2 shots to Peter Bellis. And both these players really are settling very well indeed. Bellis leads by 7 shots to 3 after 6 ends.
That end belonged to Peter Bellis simply because he bowled the 2 best bowls in the end. Not a good end for Willie. He bowled an awkward bowl with his first bowl and really didn't recover from it. Bellis met right up the green again, so we shall see a minimum length jack, which he obviously prefers.
Now there's Phil Scogland and Morgan Moffat, the skipper number 3 respectively of the New Zealand fours team, which took the silver medal yesterday, losing out but only just in the last end against England. Peter Bellis was there supporting them yesterday afternoon, and they're returning the compliment today.
Good start here from Bellis. Oh, beautifully played. Get out of that. That's an ideal position for your first bowl, not only touching the jack, but in front of it and guarding the jack too. It will take 2 very good deliveries from Willie Wood to make the shot out of this. Well, that's the first of the 2 good deliveries. Quite clear there that the blue bowl is waiting to receive the jack if it should spring. Wonderful position from Willie Wood there.
Bellis trying to match that back ball, knowing what Willie Wood's tactics will be, but not quite getting round enough.
Well, Willie, of course, can't afford to play weight at it to spring it until he's got a wood close by. Well, he's almost drawn the shot. I have a feeling that if he hadn't got the touch on Bellis's bowl, that second delivery of wood would have toppled in and taken shot from Bellis. An almost impossible shot. Great bowling.
Very accurate bowl by the Scot. Almost impossible to draw, and yet he may still have done it. And here's the next delivery from Wood, and he's taken out the full Bellis ball, and that's definitely shot now. Well, that really is a tragedy for Peter Bellis.
So a bit of good fortune there for Willie Wood, for Scotland. An unlucky bowl from Peter Bellis. Can Willie Wood take full advantage by drawing another shot? He's close, he's got a great bowl here. But 2 shots to Willie Wood. But how long will they stay there? He's playing against one of the most deadly accurate firers in the game. And with a wide head like that, it's an open invitation to the New Zealander to bang the jack into the ditch.
Well, he's not firing, but he's certainly playing it with plenty of weight, making sure he hits the target, which he does. The jack's in the ditch.
And Bellis, fortunate there, picking up the jack, but also pushing in Wood's back bowl. Willie Wood's first delivery, remember, was in a very good position there, looking to receive the jack. The jack goes there, but Willie Wood's bowl goes in the ditch, and it's Peter Bellis holding at least 2 shots, probably 3 at the moment. Wood's bowl in the ditch, of course, dead. It didn't touch the jack during its original course, and it's been lifted to the bank. Wood must get as close to the jack as he can, but he must not lose his bowl in the ditch. Can he stop?
So that really was a rather fortuitous ending for Peter Bellis. He went for the jack and got it. He didn't think he would get Wood's bowl as well, but he's done so, and that means that the New Zealander will now score 3 shots and has opened up a rather comfortable lead in this final. He now leads by 10 shots to 3.
That was a most exciting end again. We had the superb draw from Bellis with his first bowl, which made it very difficult for Willie. Willie bowled an even better bowl with his second. And then, of course, you saw this accurate drive that the New Zealanders are so famous for. And Willie probably misjudged his last bowl and allowed Bellis to have a very good count of 3.
Peter Bellis then, the tall New Zealander, gets this 8th end underway. 10-3 ahead. That really is a very, very handsome lead.
And a mark of the confidence of the man is that he is now varying the tactics. The mat brought some way up the green, but nowhere near as much as he was doing at the beginning of this game. Only 4 yards up. But he hasn't caught Willie Wood out this time on the variation of length. Willie is the first bowler to adapt to the new conditions and now holds shot. Bellis' second bowl. Well, that was dangerous. Willie Wood rather cheekily using Peter Bellis's front bowl, which looked for all the world in the way, getting a good result. That's good bowls, 2 to Willie Wood. What's the New Zealander going to do about this? There's a draw on the backhand, but he could be tempted into firing again. Well, things very definitely going Peter Bellis's way at the moment. That was a well-played bowl, good weight, good direction, slightly off target, but using his opponent's bowl and staying in the head. A proof, I suppose, that he played it with good weight. Any more weight than that and Peter Bellis's own bowl would have gone out as well. 1 to Bellis. Wood's third delivery. Peter Bellis, a complete bowler. When he came on his first visit to this country some 4 years ago, he looked a typical New Zealander. 2 shots in his locker, the draw and the fire. In subsequent visits on these heavier greens, he's learnt the in-between shots as well. He can play every shot in the book. And perhaps deliberately there, dropping a bowl in the forehand draw, making things difficult for Wood. That bowl has gone with the bias across the head a little too far if he wanted total protection. There's still room inside for Wood and a possibility for Wood to make 2 or 3 shots with a perfect result.
And Wood certainly needs those shots. 7 behind in the match and lying 1 down here. And he very nearly has pushed that in for second shot. I don't think it's quite 2 to Bellis, but it's certainly 1. So Peter Bellis stretches his lead once more. 11-3 now after 9 ends, and that's a matter of some consternation to the Scottish crowd.
Not such an exciting end, that 8th end. I thought Willie perhaps bowled the better bowls. He didn't score the shot because Peter Bellis, I thought, was a little fortunate to get the right connection with his third bowl. So it goes to 11 shots after 8 ends to Bellis and 3 to Willie Wood.
There's big Jim Scott, even taller than the man who's watching here. Scott played number 2 in that New Zealand 4. He must be delighted with the way his countryman is playing at the moment.
Well, Willie is beginning to show signs that his confidence is leaving him. He's not looking quite so brisk and confident as he was earlier in the game. Doubts creeping in his mind. This man, Peter Bellis, bowling with some rhythm, very graceful player, beautiful delivery, played well again. Oh, that's great balls. What a combination. Just 2 foot through with his first and a gentle trail to bring it right into the picture with his second, leaving Willie Wood's first bowl stranded now some 5 feet up the green.
So problems here for the Scot. Has to get himself back into this game. This is a good ball. Oh, that's a great ball. That's a marvellous ball. That's what Willie wanted. That's what the crowd wanted too. And Wood now lies 1.
Yes, Willie Wood worked very hard for this one. He knew he just had to get in there or see the game slipping away. A 4-hand draw, perfect line, perfect weight. Just a nice little use of the opponent's bowl. Finishes touching the jack.
Bellis's next delivery is also a good ball.
Well, that's enough a shot. That's what the big man wanted. A touch on Willie Wood's shot bowl. The jack springs into the ditch, and it's Peter Bellis who holds the deepest bowl, so he'll hold shot at the moment. Plenty of room for both players though. Well, he's trying very hard, but it's his own bowl he's got. But that full connection saved him. He could so easily have taken his nearest bowl out.
Position fraught with danger there for Bellis. He really did come very close to committing the unpardonable sin, but in the end it's just 2 shots to Wood. And he's now only 5 behind at 11-6.
Yes, we may well have seen the start of the slow grind back by Willie Wood. On that end, he thoroughly deserved shots, and I would agree with my co-commentators that Peter Bellis was lucky to lose 2 only. A half ball contact, it would have been four shots down.
Well, over a game of 21 up, the lucky breaks have a habit of evening themselves out, and I would think probably Peter Bellis has had a couple of rubs so far. That's another very, very good opening ball by Wood.
Yes, I think Wood was shaken by the long lead that the New Zealander took. But I think he's over that now, and he's working very hard, concentrating hard to get back in the game. It's a test of character for him, but he showed in the Commonwealth Games that he was up to that kind of challenge. A great outdoor player, Willie Wood. One of the all-time greats. Well, I'm not sure what Peter Bellis is playing there. 4 yards past the jack. I'm sure that wasn't intentional. He couldn't surely at this stage be trying a takeout. That could be 2. The angles are deceptive. There's not a great deal to choose for second bowl between the last delivery of Willie Wood with the blue disc at the bottom of the picture and the bowl with the black and white disc. It looks a good measure. Well, that could have done it. After the contact, the bowls fell the right way for Peter Bellis. Wood's bowl fell out. Bellis's bowl fell in. There's not a great deal in that.
So Willie Wood's last delivery of the end, possibly now lying one down. 20 weight in this as he got the jack through the gap.
Well, that was a dangerous shot to play under the circumstances. If Wood had rested out Bellis's nearest bowl, true, it was 3 shots to him. But a contact on the jack with that sort of weight would have sent the jack towards the ditch, and it's Peter Bellis who had the better bowl at the back.
Now, I think Peter Bellis must have felt he lies shot, because he didn't really want to know an awful lot with that last bowl. I think he was quite happy to leave the situation as it was.
I think he may have been going for a takeout to push Willie Wood's bowl out of the head, but if so, he was very wide. Not a well-played bowl at all. Looks like Willie's bowl for shot.
John Kirkwood's the marker. And yes, he indicates it's the blue ball. So Willie Wood maintains this comeback. 11 ends gone in the World Singles Final, and New Zealand now leading 11-7.
It's curious on that end that 2 of Peter Bellis's 4 bowls were way through the head, didn't look like achieving anything. We're puzzled to know what he was trying to do. We assumed for the last bowl that he must be lying shot. In fact, it wasn't. So it makes his 4th bowl even more curious.
Well, we hear from down by the green that Willie actually felt he was lying one down in that last end. So it shows that even the bowlers can misjudge a measure. They'll be delighted to have been wrong. It's a toucher, but it's run on too far. Willie Wood asking the marker, John Kirkwood, who holds shot, and he's told that he, Wood, does.
He also wished to know, of course, how far short he was with his first delivery so that he can make the correction this time. Bowls is all about correction. And Wood making the correction perfectly there, putting the 2 feet of weight on that he required. It's a good shot there now to Wood. Here's a good reply from Bellis. That's the shot.
Great credit to all these players from Australia and New Zealand who have, by and large, in these championships adapted remarkably well to British conditions, which are very alien to them. This green, according to the official scoreboard, is running today at around 11 seconds, which is a good, what, 4 or 5 seconds slower than what they're used to?
Well, more than that even, Dougie. The timing of a green, oh, what a great try from Willie Wood. If he'd rested that, he'd have been 3 shots. He made the contact. Didn't want the slide off it, wanted to push it out. Great try. The timing of the greens is measured over a 30-yard jack. 11 seconds means the time it takes for a bowl after it leaves your hand to come to rest 30 yards away. And on the much faster greens in New Zealand, it takes a lot longer, would you believe? Sometimes up to 19, 20, even more than 20 seconds on some of the New Zealand greens. And the reason for that, of course, is that on a very fast green you have to allow the bowl to trickle off your fingers. It goes at a very slow pace, which belies the fact it's a fast green, and trickles on and takes an age to stop.
Of course, having said that the players from down under adapt to our greens, let's be fair and say that players like Willie Wood here and David Bryant and several other British players have adapted very well to their conditions as well. Sign of a top-class bowler been able to play in any sort of green. Here's a good ball here by Wood, and he's trailed it for 2.
And Wood, perhaps trying to rest the bowl, I think would prefer the result he got. A nice gentle trail, 2 very good shots, very difficult to beat. And Bellis, of course, has only 1 bowl left on this end to save. He desperately wants to stop the Scotsman from catching him up in the way that he's been doing the last few ends. Playing with a shade of weight, playing it with a lot of accuracy. If he's by the front, oh, what bad luck. That bowl was on target all the way down the green. Bellis unlucky to see his bowl fouled on his own front bowl. 2 shots to the Scot.
So Willie Wood continues to fight his way back into this final. He's now just 2 shots behind at 11-9.
That was a crucial end for both bowlers. Peter Bellis no doubt thought that he'd won the end with a very good third bowl. Willie produced a cracker out of the hat with his fourth bowl, meant that he's now scored 6 shots over the last 4 ends, taking the score from 11-3 to 11-9.
Now this is a length jack that we haven't seen for some time. The mat well back. The regulation 2 yards from the ditch. And a 3/4 length jack to which Willie Wood slots his first bowl in. A very good place, 18 inches behind. That's a good yard short. It may be rather unusual to see a player visit the head to look at the position when only 2 bowls have been played, especially when there isn't a bowl yet within 18 inches of the jack. But Willie Wood is keen to know just how far short Peter Bellis's wood lies, and he's assessing the danger of pushing it up for shot.
Wood holding shot then with that ball behind the jack.
And having assessed the danger on the forehand, Wood figures that it's worth the risk. He's got to play that forehand. Around the bowl he comes. That's great play. Bellis' second delivery, he's short again. Slight improvement on his first. He could have got second bowl out of it. Both bowlers finding a very good green, giving a very good width to their bowl. All the bowls so far on this end have finished pretty well on the centre line of the rink.
By Wood.
And it's not easy to bowl to a head of that description where all 4 bowls were in a straight line. There's nothing there to help you. All you're going for is a perfect length. That's exactly what Willie Wood achieved, and perhaps just slightly unlucky to widen the head a little. Still, it's still not easy for Bellis. Well, Peter Bellis suffered there. He hit his target bowl, which was one of Willie Wood's counters. Unfortunate just to turn it over twice into an even better scoring position for Willie. You know Willie's holding 2, it could be 3.
Just 1 ball each to come. This Willie Wood's final delivery of the 13th end.
He's played the forehand so well on this end. He's trying another one. He's well played, just a little too far. But in a wonderful position, because the jack could spring to that last delivery of Willie Wood.
Now, of course, the problems are Peter Bellis's, this tall New Zealander. 11-3 up at one point. Now been pegged back to 11-9, and lying 2, possibly 3 shots down at the moment. This is last ball. Now it's his turn to worry about getting back into the game.
And he's winding himself up for a firing shot. The murmur goes round the crowd. Here he goes.
And that went through with such force it struck the bank beyond the ditch and bounced back onto the green. But it threaded its way through the head. That's the main thing from Willie Wood's point of view. 2 shots already.
An important measure, this. If it goes to Wood, Wood leads. But it's the New Zealander who has the next nearest bowl. 2 shots to Willie Wood. The first phase of his comeback is over. He now is level with the New Zealander. 11 shots all.
Let's see that final firing shot there from Peter Bellis. Tremendously powerful firer. Straight through the gap, and that leaves Willie Wood with 2 shots and the scoreline 11 all.
That was Willie Wood at his very, very best. He had always shot and always position, forced Bellis into a drive. There was very little to hit. He missed, and now we have 11-11 and a match on our hands.
So an unlucky 13th end for Peter Bellis. Wood has now pulled back 8 shots over 5 ends, and he's now dominating things. Wants a good opening ball again, keeping the pressure on his opponent. Perfect green, but just a little underweighted. Bellis distracted there by someone walking along the gangway in the crowd behind the head. Incidentally, over on another green, the Hong Kong-Scotland match, which is for the Fours bronze medal, is going Scotland's way. They lead 26-12 after 15 ends.
Well, a superb bowl from Willie Wood. Ideal correction on his first, which was a yard short. But it's finished in a position which Peter Bellis may be able to use. Willie Wood will not be satisfied with the position at the moment because his jack high bowl offers a straightforward rest for his opponent. Willie would very much like to draw another shot here and preferably tuck that bowl of his around the corner behind the jack. Another great bowl here from Willie. He's doing it. And now the body language all changed. It's Willie Wood now who looks the more confident, the more relaxed, and Peter Bellis who looks worried. This was the bowl that sealed the end for Willie Wood. a beautiful trail, taking the access away from Peter Bellis. Peter needs a shade of weight here to use the 2 wood bowls as a split. He's got ideal weight for the job.
And Willie Wood could very well be laying 3 shots here.
And his position is good, but the back bowls are against him, and that will worry him to some extent. Willie has to make the decision of between drawing another shot on the backhand and putting a back bowl in to protect the 2 shots that he already has. Could be 3, of course. Well, he's drawing. He's got another shot here. If he reaches, can he run it out?
Well, it's hard to tell whether that was enough to make it 4 shots. But whether it's 2, 3 or 4, and it could be either, it certainly puts the pressure once again on Peter Bellis with his last delivery of this 14th end.
Yes, it's not easy for Bellis to get to the head now. The backhand was always the choice for Bellis, but it's more difficult for him on the backhand now, and it looks to me as though he's decided to play this on the forehand. The forehand holds a little straighter. It's a difficult hand to play with weight, but he's close.
More shots to Wood. He'll go back into the lead. It's certainly 2. And now having a look for the 3rd shot. Two shots it is, 2 to Willie Wood, and he's back in the lead again. And what a turnaround this has been. He's now picked up 10 shots. From an 11-3 deficit, he's now back in front at 13-11.
Willie Wood controlled the end with his first 2 bowls. His 3rd bowl, a superb shot, locked the door to Peter Bellis, and Willie is now quite deservedly, in my opinion, in front.
Well, it's the first time that Willie Wood has been ahead. 11-3 down, 10 shots in a row, 13-11 the Scot leads, and Peter Bellis must now be a very worried bowler.
And while Willie Wood keeps on winning the ends, he wins the privilege of bowling the jack to his preferred length and the privilege of bowling the first bowl. And if he goes on bowling his first bowl as well as that, then Peter Bellis will really find things very difficult. He must win an end and try to shake the Scot by varying the length jack.
While these two contest the gold medal, the bronze medal playoff between David Bryant of England and Kenny Williams of Australia, over on an adjacent green, is going David Bryant's way. He leads 18-12 after 17 ends. Oh, that's a good ball by Bellis. That's what he wanted.
And Wood has been bowling so accurately that Bellis has hardly been lying shot at any stage over the last 5 or 6 ends. and for once he finds the right contact, trails the jack, 1 to Bellis, and again for once Willie Wood has an adverse head to bowl to. No real problem. The jack is accessible on the forehand, plenty of room for Wood. He's played it.
And psychologically, that's a very, very good ball by Willie Wood. Peter Bellis had taken the shot for the first time in several ends, as David Rhys-Jones mentioned, and Willie Wood straight back in again to take the shot back.
And again, psychologically, the next bowl is of importance, because this bowl of Willie Wood really almost seals it up. Doesn't make it quite impossible for Bellis, because Bellis can trail the jack round the corner for 2. It's very close. Wonderful effort. Perfect weight for the job.
One shot to Wood, who's 13-11 in the match. Remember, first man to 21 will be the world singles champion and will hold that title for the next 4 years.
Well, that's a good position. He knows that Bellis will be going for the trail, and that's the direction that the jack could take. And if Willie Wood can hold the shot on this end, he will be doubly delighted, because not only will he move further into the lead, but he'll be off the figure 13. And Willie Wood states in his list of superstitions that he is very worried about sticking on number 13 during a game of bowls.
So Willie Wood's dominance of this singles final continues. He's off the 13 he doesn't like, he's on 14, and now he's 3 shots clear of Peter Bellis.
Willie Wood is making life very difficult for Peter Bellis with his first bowl. Wood is bowling a very good first bowl, and in that end I thought that his third bowl showed his character and earned him the 1 point.
More applause there from the crowd at the side of the green, whose view of that excellent first delivery of Willie Wood is foreshortened. It looks nearer to them than it does to us, but it is a very good bowl.
Very sporting applause there for Peter Bellis. The crowd here know that the New Zealander is struggling a little, encouraging him, wanting to see him push Willie Wood and get back into this game.
Short this time. Well, Bellis has greened this much wider than previous deliveries. The bowl did try to come back. It's biased, winging its way back into the jack, but not enough. Beautiful length, but not very good for Bellis there. I can't see a bowl in that sort of position counting on this end. Willie really is bowling this backhand exceptionally well. He's got the shot here if it runs. Yes, that is the shot. Well, the way Bellis is looking at this hand, it looks as though he may be going for a firing shot to remove the 2 Willie Wood bowls, in which case he would be holding 2 shots himself. The alternative is a backhand draw. Well, he's sticking with the draw for the moment. Well, it was noticeable that Bellis dropped that bowl. It gave a little hop on the green as he delivered it. That's not like him. He's got one of the prettiest deliveries in the world. Very elegant and graceful. It goes away from his hand like silk, but that one didn't. And the telltale sign was that it dropped 4-5 feet short. Another good length bowl from Willie Wood, but it's not good enough to count. 1 shot to Wood. It's dangerous for Bellis. If he does try weight at this to remove the Wood bowls, he could be unfortunate to remove his own. So I'm pretty sure he will stick to a drawing delivery on the backhand. Here he goes. He's well greened this time. His weight's good too. Yes, could be.
So Peter Bellis stops the rut, picking up 1 shot with that excellent final delivery there. And he picks up the mat in a very business-like manner. Will take it a very long way up the green, I'm sure. There you are, you can see just how far up the green he's taking it. Got to try and do something to unsettle Willie Wood, who's been bowling marvellously grooved bowls. Still just 2 shots in this match now. 14-12, Scotland lead. Here's the final Bellis delivery again. Such an important one for the New Zealander. Applause for a successful firing shot in another rink as we watch Peter Bellis's ball drop in beautifully, applauded by Willie Wood. And 14-12 the score now in this World Singles Final.
All the pressure was on Peter Bellis. He overcame it with a superb last bowl. Now he is in the match, and we're seeing a different game of bowls with the mat right up the green.
When the mat is brought up the green to this extent, of course, it still must remain on the centre line of the rink, and the jack must also be centred onto that line. But the bowlers, bowling over new territory, must search out a fresh line to the jack. And on this end, it's Peter Bellis who has started with the better control. That's a good bowl from Bellis. And the applause for a win in the fours playoff for one of the minor places where Zambia have beaten Swaziland by 37 shots to 7.
Good try there by Wood.
Bellis, his third bowl. Forehand draw. He mustn't push Wood into a shot scoring position. And aware of the danger, he overgreens it. And again, going over fresh grass, drops a little short. Quite often you see a bowler overgreen a bowl and drop short. It's because he's over territory that hasn't been rolled down consistently by the bowler. bowls during the game. On greens of this kind, you could hardly call it long grass, but it makes a difference to the roll of the bowl. This is good. This is the shot.
Wonderful accuracy from the Scot. Much to the delight of this huge crowd in Westbourne Park in Aberdeen. Round the short bowls, right on top, and stays there.
And it's Willie's ability to bowl pressure bowls like that that makes me think that he's on the way to the world singles title. Bellis is trying hard, a little push on his own. Very close, just the width of a bowl. And Bellis could have pushed his own bowl in for shot.
Willie's face fairly impassive throughout most matches. Just now and again it creases into that broad grin we know so well. But he must be well pleased with the way he's playing and indeed the way this match is going.
Well, he did the work with his third bowl. Understandable that he's short with that. Didn't want to do any damage. He'll be very pleased to get back onto the scoreboard because the initiative switches to him now. He'll place the mat where he wants. And of course, he leads by a vital 3 shots. 15-12 to Willie Wood against Peter Bellis in this game, which goes to 21 shots.
Well, on that last end, Peter Bellis set Willie Wood a new test. Long mat, short jack towards the end of the ditch. Willie came through it with flying colours with the third ball. It was a beauty. He was quite right not to try too hard with his fourth, to revert back to the former jack length that saw him skate so far ahead in earlier ends.
Well, Willie Wood, from being 11-3 down, has restricted his opponent to just 1 shot in the last 9 ends. 15-12, the Scot leads the New Zealander. First man to 21 over the world champion. Oh, he's done it again. Imagine how Peter Bellis must feel having to face that kind of accuracy virtually every end. Willie Wood has played very few loose first bowls and he's always holding the initiative for that reason.
Well, better behind than in front. Willie Wood's control of line and length is superb. Well, Peter Bellis really misses back home in Australia, where the greens are very fast and accurate. New Zealand, rather. He won't thank me for that. I know that he's got a great deal of rivalry with some of his Australian friends. But in New Zealand, the greens are so accurate, he fires quite often and rarely misses.
An indication there, perhaps, David, that Peter Bellis is a little bit rattled. Meantime, David Bryant has just clinched the bronze medal for England, and that makes Bryant's personal haul in World Championship singles over the 5 tournaments, 2 golds and 2 bronzes. Only in 1 World Championships has he failed to pick up a medal in the singles. An incredible record. Oh, look at this.
And this sort of form must win this man from Gifford in East Lothian the World Championship here today. Because not only is he bowling a superb length, but he is succeeding in putting his bowls in almost unbeatable positions. Watch how this bowl curls around behind the jack and offers no target at all to the New Zealander. If Bellis is going to fire now, he has a target only 5 or 6 inches wide.
Here it comes. Successful this time, he's certainly saved 2. But remember, Willie Wood has 1 ball left, as indeed does Bellis.
Well, Bellis will be highly satisfied with this. That's accuracy. 2 of the Wood bowls move out of the picture. Bellis now has 2nd bowl. It's a good bet, though, that Willie Wood will slot this one in, and by the time Bellis bowls his final delivery, he'll have 2 against him. Oh, another perfect bowl here. Another absolutely perfect bowl from Willie Wood. Great play. But this time there is a chance for Bellis, because if Bellis can produce another firing shot with the same accuracy that he found with his 3rd delivery, those 2 bowls of Willie Wood will disappear from the head. The jack shouldn't move, and Bellis's bowl, 5 feet away it may be, but it'll be the shot. Here he goes, lining up. This is going to be the big one. He's got it. Well, I predicted that the jack wouldn't move. He didn't get quite the right contact. The jack has moved. It's moved far enough to replay the end. The jack found its way onto the next rink. That's a good firing shot. And the jack over the string into the next rink. They'll play that end again in the same direction.
Well, the frustration of the game of bowls perhaps summed up there. Willie Wood played 4 virtually perfect bowls, and saw the end blanked by that successful firing shot by Bellis.
The scoreline then remains the same. Scotland 15, New Zealand 12. 17 ends played, but the ends immaterial. It's the first to 21 wins the game, and Wood re-delivers the jack, trying for the same accuracy that he found on the previous end.
Yes, and the thing that impressed me most about that end was that Willie Wood was playing such relaxed, calm, casual bowls. He might have been having a roll up at his own Gifford club. 4 bowls within 12 inches, but full marks to Peter Bellis after missing so badly with his first drive, half contact with his second one and a beauty with his 3rd.
Some of the traditionalists, of course, don't like this firing game, but it's more and more part of the competitive game of bowls these days. All part of the game, and I'm sure Willie Wood would be the first one to congratulate his opponent on his devastating accuracy. Wood's first bowl this time, not quite so good. Bellis fails to take advantage. He'll be disappointed about that. For once, Wood had got a bowl level with the jack. Well, Wood has changed his hand. 4-hand this time. That was a trial Wood for Willie Wood, because he hadn't bowled that 4-hand before, at least since very early in the game. But showing there he can play either hand with equal accuracy. Not so good this time. He pulled that. Short and narrow.
Peter Bellis, shot with his first two.
Got a better bowl here. He's made the correction. That's a great bowl. And after two short bowls, one might have expected Bellis to be perhaps a little overweight with this, but his correction absolutely superb. He gets a touch on the jack, moves to a very good position immediately behind it. Willie Wood has a problem to remove that bowl. He's playing the draw. He's looking good. Well, that must be a match winner. The bowl of Bellis looked impregnable behind the jack. It didn't look possible to rest it. But Willie Wood found this superb counter and is now lying 3 shots. Look how secure that bowl of Bellis looks behind the jack. And without even touching the jack, Willie Wood pushes it out just far enough to count 3. Great play.
Exhibition stuff by Wood, it really is. But let's not forget there are only 3 shots in the match, and Peter Bellis is always capable of pulling one out. And he saved one there. It should be 2 to Wood though.
Bellis really wanted to collect the jack for 2 shots.
(17-12), Willie Wood leads.
And on that 18th end, both in the original version and the replayed version, Willie Wood bowled and looked like a world champion.
Four shots required for the world title. And that means, of course, that at any end from now on, this match could finish. See whether Wood can get another good opening bowl in to keep the pressure on Peter Bellis.
Bellis has already put up a better performance against Wood than in the crunch game in the Commonwealth Games in 1982, where he managed to score only 7 shots. To be fair, I think that result in Brisbane was a freak result, and any match that features these 2 world-class players you would expect to be a cracker. And we've had a great game here today. Well, suddenly a lapse, and Willie Wood has given Peter Bellis 2 chances to get in.
The loud applause is for the fours bronze medal playoff over on another green in which Scotland have beaten Hong Kong, so Scotland will take the bronze in the fours event, which was won yesterday by England, with New Zealand taking silver. Now, this is the loosest end we've seen for some time. Only the one medal remains to be decided in these championships, and that's the singles gold, the blue ribboned event. This is the one, this is the one.
Well, I think it's understandable that at last Willie Wood should fail to get in with his first 2 deliveries, and this was the end that Peter Bellis really needed to step in and take his opportunity. But Wood had the luxury of 3 goes at it, and his 3rd bowl absolutely perfect. Bellis's three deliveries on this end, extremely disappointing. He looks a beaten man at the moment. Scotland needing 4 to win. Willie Wood holding 1 shot on this end. He should get another one with this. Oh, he's short again. Well, what's happened to them?
Three poor bowls by Willie Wood, but his fourth, luckily for him, was an absolute cracker. And Peter Bellis has one final chance to try to wrest back the shot. Has he done it? What a great effort by Peter Bellis. Very close for shot. Billy grins and says, "Sorry, chum, I think it's mine." And Peter Bellis concedes. Well, I said earlier that luck has a habit of evening itself out, and if Peter Bellis got a couple of breaks early on, he's not getting them now. And of course, this is when he needs them most. One more to Wood, and 18-12.
When a singles player gets to 17, it's a very significant point. It means that the bowler can win in one end. And it may well be that that figure 17 introduced a little collywobbles for both. But now the score's 18-12 to Willie Wood. Is it a case of overtures?
Absolutely full length jack this time. The jack 40 yards away from the mat. Good start for Wood. In Bellis's mind must be the fact that Wood only needs 3 shots. And he must be thinking, if I don't beat that first delivery, I could find myself 3 adrift by the completion of this end. So Willie Wood comes to see the position. He will find that he lies shot 2 feet short, that the black and white disked bowl of Peter Bellis is a yard short of the jack, and that the Bellis bowl doesn't present an obstacle for him on his favourite backhand. The last thing that Willie will want to do will be to promote the New Zealand bowl into a shot scoring position, but I'm sure that he will confidently play this backhand, negotiating a path around the front bowl for 2 shots. Well, a very happy position for Wood. Potentially a match lie. He holds 2. He has 2 more bowls. Either of them could count for game. Every bowl for Bellis vital now. He's got better weight with this. Pushing his own. Well, he's saved. That looks like second bowl. And the short Bellis bowl now poses a problem for Willie Wood. On the backhand, that bowl is in the way. And Willie concedes that the Bellis bowl prevents him getting in on the backhand. Changes his hand. Forehand shot here for Wood. He's well played. Just a bit overweight. But he stops on the green, and that's always valuable against Peter Bellis. You've seen Peter Bellis's strong-arm tactics move the jack towards the ditch on several occasions. So Wood holds shot and position.
Very wide, it's coming back though. Oh, that's a good ball. That's a very good ball by Peter Bellis. That's the shot.
And Willie Wood looking at a forehand shot here to counter this excellent delivery of Peter Bellis, drawing the shot around the front stuff, resting the Wood bowl, falling in. Now, what will Wood play? He's got a good chance on the forehand with a bit of weight to trail the jack through, and he could make the 3 shots that he needs for game. He's playing it. He's seen the opportunity. He needs to come through the hole, pick up the jack. He's got it. That's the game shot.
He can do no wrong. Absolutely superb delivery from Willie Wood. And now there's a real buzz in the crowd. They know that he lies 3.
And a lot of bowlers wouldn't have even seen that this shot was on, let alone have the courage to play it. Willie Wood picking up the jack, trailing it through. 3 shots he lies now. And the pressure really on this man from New Zealand. The shot's not very close, but they all count.
Peter Bellis waiting for the crowd to settle down. This is the ball to stay alive. Oh, well done, Peter Bellis. He may even have drawn the shot. Willie Wood concedes the shot, and that really was a very brave ball by the New Zealander. He picks up 1 shot, and now it's 18-13.
Not only brave, Dougie, extremely difficult technically. The jack had been moved to the side of the rink. It was a full-length jack. It was the sort of length that New Zealanders don't like, and he kept his cool, drew a beautiful shot. Full marks to him.
Let's see again that Willie Wood trail. It really was the most marvellous shot, and at the time left him lying game. Look at that. Peter Bellis though was able to counter that, to pick 1, and he's now delivered the jack to within an inch of the ditch. He really came perilously close to losing it. It's obviously now removed back 2 yards.
So important for Bellis to have won that end, to establish the initiative by throwing the jack to his preferred length. But that's the way to counter that sort of tactic. Great delivery from Wood. Interesting. The head developing for Peter Bellis. He doesn't hold the shot, but he's got 2 good positional bowls.
Hollywood feeling the heat down there. Very warm afternoon. But playing as well as he can ever have played in his life, I would think. What a stage on which to do it. World Championship singles final. He's drawn another, but they're both in front of the jack.
And that's not what Willie wanted. He may have two shots. Quite clearly he has, but it's Bellis who has the better position. If Bellis could contact the shot bowl of wood, roll the jack towards his own, he'll have 2, maybe 3 shots if his own stays in the picture. But with this weight, it could go dead. It's gone. That's the penalty for putting them too close against Peter Bellis.
Another accurate firing shot by the New Zealander. Tremendous force. Off goes the jack out of the rink, and once again it's a replayed end.
Willie with a superb first bowl. I'm quite sure did not mean to get near the jack with his second. He made it comparatively easy for Bellis to drive, and he did accurately, so we have to play the end all over again.
Reminder of the scoreline: Scotland 18, New Zealand 13. Wood requiring 3 shots to become world champion. Good opening goal this time by Peter Bellis. He's a fighter.
Two very good starting bowls. But the head very wide, and now even wider. This could tempt either player into playing weight. Shade of weight from Willie. That's a good bowl, just behind. Highly satisfactory. Bellis for New Zealand. He holds the shot. Desperately wants another one in there. He's well played, with a good bowl here. Oh, that's a great bowl. Well, he almost made 3 of that, moving the jack across to the right, almost bringing his short bowl into the picture. Definitely 2 to New Zealand.
Here's Bellis's ball. Perfect weight. And it had moved just a little further, it could well have been 3. Really coming in with weight, but too wide.
And an interesting head here. Looking very secure for New Zealand. There is no way that I can see that Wood can make game of it on this end. Everything in the New Zealanders' favour. If he gets another shot in here, he could score 3, maybe 4 shots. Well, that should be in.
Three shots it is to Peter Bellis. and those could be very vital shots. It would bring the score back to 18-16 if Wood can do nothing with his final delivery. An important one, this.
He looks wide. He looks heavy. He may have saved one.
No, 3 shots it is to Peter Bellis. A very brave fight back by this tall New Zealander. And this game is still very much alive. It's now just 2 shots that separate the 2 players. Wood still with the advantage of being able to win in any end from here on, with Bellis still requiring 5 shots.
When Peter Bellis has the opportunity to bring the mat right up the green and play minimum length jacks, we see him at his best. He had a very good end there, not one of Willie's best. Now, I wouldn't like to predict who's going to win this game.
Well, the 2 fours matches which were taking place on this green have now ended, and as you can see there, these 2 players have this marvellous stage entirely to themselves for the concluding ends of this final.
The players being joined at the moment by the umpires, who have been called in to measure the length of the jack. Peter Bellis has brought the mat as far up the green as he is permitted to do. He has thrown the jack shorter than he intended, and it's possible that it is shorter than he is permitted to do. 25 yards is the minimum length jack. We shall see. It's a good jack. It can't be up by more than a couple of inches, though. That's an important decision from Peter Bellis's point of view. If that decision had gone against him, Wood would have taken the mat back, thrown a long jack, and I'm fairly certain that Wood would have finished the game. Bellis, though, still in with a very good chance, looking for a good opening delivery. He'd have wished it closer than that.
Chance for Wood to take the initiative. Oh, that's a great ball.
Bellis was hoping for and relying on some luck coming off that short bowl of his own. He was really very wide and quite heavy. Another great bowl from Wood.
That's 2 of the 3 he needs. In the meantime, the last match on the other greens is just finishing, which means that every game being played here in these World Championships is now over, except the big one. Here's Willie Wood's second delivery again, coming in. I think possibly would have liked that to have fallen over onto its belly a little bit.
Yes, it's a good bowl and a bad bowl, because it gives Peter Bellis a fair target. He's not firing at it, he's using very controlled weight, he's very close, but he's just running by.
So there's a chance here for Willie Wood to draw another shot and lie game and put more pressure on his opponent. And of course the significance this time is that it's Willie Wood who has last bowl. Peter Bellis has just 1 bowl to come and could find himself needing to stay alive once again. He's already done it successfully once.
Well, that's not in the count, so Willie Wood does not lie game, but it's a very good positional bowl. It splits the two New Zealand back bowls perfectly. Bellis will not be able to make both of them count unless he removes both of Willie Wood's scoring bowls. He could be firing at this, yes. They've gone. A good strike. A rather unusual way of getting two bowls out of the head. They went off in some very odd directions. Just look at this. Out they go. And it's the New Zealander who holds shot, and he could have two. Straightforward chance for Willie to make the shot out of it. He's done it. No mistake about this.
Willie Wood cool under pressure, drawing the shot without too much concern, and now he moves to 19 and needs just 2 shots to become world champion.
That end must belong to Willie Wood. 2 good first bowls, an intelligent positional bowl, his third. Good strike from Peter Bellis, but Willie doesn't miss the opportunity to draw when he has a yard to draw in. 1 shot to Willie Wood, which I thought he thoroughly deserved.
That's not what he wanted for his first ball.
And the crowd tell it all with their groans. 2 yards short, plenty of room for Peter Bellis to step in if he can miss the front ball. That's good play. Are you up, Willie? Still a good yard short. Wood has misjudged the length of this jack. His first 2 deliveries way down the park. So 2 shots to the New Zealander. No great problem for Wood. On the forehand, there's quite a good swing in. He can see the jack high New Zealand bowl. It gives him a point of aim. That's the bowl he has to beat. If he beats the jack high bowl, he gets second. He could get the shot. Nothing on but a forehand draw. This is better.
And once again we hear that roar from the huge crowd now gathered around this green as Willie Wood finally gets it right. It's his chosen length of jack, remembered. Fell short with his first 2, but absolutely no mistake with the third.
And having got the feel of that bowl, Willie Wood knows that if he can repeat that with his next delivery, he's won the game. Unless Peter Bellis can get in with this one and make things more difficult for him. Well, he's failed. He's narrow. This is your chance, Willie Wood.
1916. Wood needs 2 to become world champion. He holds 1 of them, and he has 1 bowl to come. This to put the pressure on Peter Bellis with his last bowl. It looks good. It looks good all the way. Oh, look at that. Absolutely superb bowling by Willie Woods, the Scot from East Lothian. And now Peter Bellis has all the problems once again.
Well, didn't the crowd enjoy this one? He had to miss the front bowls by very little, just a fraction. In the bowl comes. That's an ideal place. What can Peter Bellis possibly do to counter this match-winning lie? He's got to fire. He's got to use weight.
All or nothing for Peter Bellis. And Willie Wood leaps in the air in frustration. He thought for a moment that Bellis had missed. But once again, this New Zealander has fired accurately. The jack shoots out of the rink, and they'll have to replay it all over again.
Well, he missed the shot he was playing for. A bit of good fortune there for Bellis, and very bad luck for Willie Wood. It was that wing wood he came off. The jack goes dead. That bowl did not deserve the result that it got, and Willie Wood really suffered there.
Well, what a dramatic match this is proving to be. Wood making not only his customary slow start, but a pretty disastrous start, going 11-3 behind before coming racing back, leading 14-11, and he's led ever since. But there's still only 3 shots in it, and while this New Zealander is firing as well as this, one has to say that he's got to be in with a chance.
The Bellis drive was well off target, and I thought he was indeed fortunate to still be in the game. He is, and therefore we've still got to wait for Willie to score 2 or for Bellis to score 5 before we know the world champion.
Well, after firing with his final bowl of the dead end, that's a great length bowl from Bellis. It is difficult to find a good length after you've been firing. Well, the crowd like that. And Willie Wood deserved the cheers and the applause. Great bowl to steal the shot. Bellis wanted the trail, but he's achieved a very good back position. Willie short this time. This is a bit of a let-off for Peter Bellis. Bellis has an excellent chance here of resting out
in this game.
Yes, had Willie had that chance half a dozen ends ago, I have a feeling he would have picked it up. And that shows what pressure can do to you.
And Bellis stalks his first delivery all the way up the green, and it's a good one. It may not be close enough to win him the game, but it's on the right side of the jack. It protects the jack a little. If Willie can get past it, he's got a great bowl. Well, that showed just how good that first bowl of Peter Bellis was. It prevented Wood finding the correct path and getting to the jack. Two good bowls to start with, however.
Unbearable tension around this marvellous arena. Peter Bellis needing one shot, Willie Wood needing two.
And Bellis thrown onto the backhand by Willie Wood's first delivery. He's got a great bowl here.
That could be the winner. That could be the World Championship winning bowl.
And the chalk mark accorded to that bowl means that if it goes into the ditch, it remains alive. This is how good it was. Peter Bellis hasn't bowled this backhand on a draw for some time and found it absolutely perfectly.
So now real problems for Wood.
He's well played. He's very well played.
You couldn't be any closer. Has to be still one to Bellis.
Well, we couldn't have asked for a better finish to a game of bowls than this. The astonishing accuracy of both men means that one of these men is going to lose, and he's going to be ever so unlucky. Bellis, whole shot then.
A game which absolutely justifies its billing.
Bellis not trying to get anywhere near with this. He's trying to put one halfway down the park and in the way, swinging away too much. It might save a firing shot, but it's not in the way for a backhand shot with weight. And that's what Wood needs. He needs to contact his own bowl that he delivered so accurately with his previous delivery to shift Bellis's bowl out of the head. Wood will hold two and the game will be his.
Willie Wood has two bowls left. It's opened it out.
Well, Wood was off target there, and he was looking for a shade of luck. It went with him. He's still one down, still game against him, but it's made it much easier for him to draw the shot with his next delivery.
Peter Bellis with his last bowl. Will it be his last bowl of the match, I wonder?
He'll be trying to get close with this. Doesn't want this one short.
Absolutely delighted, and well he might be. What a great bowl. And a broad grin on Peter Bellis's face. He realises just how difficult it's going to be now for Willie Wood.
This bowl coming so close to the jack, not quite touching it, but it makes it virtually impossible for Willie Wood to get the shot back. Willie can put that bowl into the ditch. The jack will go into the ditch as well, but Bellis has the best back bowl, the bowl with the chalk mark on it, and that's the one that will count if the jack goes in the ditch. Unless Willie's own bowl will run through and stop on the green. That's his only chance, I feel, of getting the shot.
I think that's pure relief on Peter Bellis's face.
Well, that's the sort of bowl you dream of. If you need one to win, you couldn't be in a better position than that.
Tremendous applause for Willie Wood. Encouragement from this crowd. 99% of whom must be hoping for a miracle here. And a miracle is what it's going to take.
He's narrow.
He's got it! Unbelievable last ball by Wood. That was sheer luck. There's no way he could have expected that to happen. But Willie Wood is still alive and this crowd cannot believe it. It's 20 all. What an unbelievable ending to the World Championship final.
And I think perhaps a little poetic justice about that after Peter Bellis's good fortune on killing the end with game against a couple of ends ago. What a finish to the World Championship.
And the Wood family must feel as if they've been reprieved. Wife Morag there in the sunglasses, and little Colin and his daughter Sylvia. And this time we must have a winner this end. 20 all. Let's see again that incredible last ball by Wood.
And this came from nowhere. Willie was tight, he was narrow, there's no doubt. He got the touch on the front bowl, his own bowl goes in. How did he do it?
After that drive, Willie Wood, perhaps not surprisingly, plays a very disappointing first ball.
Can Bellis seal this with his first delivery? No, he's very heavy. Well, perhaps the pressure's got to both of them.
Willie adjusts, but not very well. He's almost as heavy as Bellis. For the record, Wood holds shot, but surely someone will be a good deal closer than anything on the green at the moment.
Well, with the sort of accuracy we've been seeing from both players, that last delivery of Peter Bellis, good though it is, should not be good enough for him to win the title. It's 15 inches away from the jack. Room for Willie Wood to draw. He's got a good bowl here. Can it bend? Possibly.
I wouldn't think so, David. I think that has to be one to Bellis. If you had scripted this ending to the World Singles Final, you'd have been laughed out of court. 20 all. The pendulum has swung and swung back and swung again.
Well, that's short but troublesome. Willie Wood would prefer not to have to bowl the backhand with that bowl in the way. He doesn't like it. The opinion is that it's the New Zealand bowl which holds shot. Peter Bellis is lying game, and this is Willie Wood's last delivery of the end. He's changing his hand, the first time he's played the forehand on this particular end, and he's playing for game.
This could be it. It's running, it's running, it's running, it's done enough! And now Willie Wood holds game with Peter Bellis having the last delivery. It ran and seemed to run forever, and in the end it stopped just where Willie Wood wanted it. So, once again, Peter Bellis, and come what may, this will be the last delivery of this final. When it comes to rest, one man will be world champion. It's moved it. Has it moved it enough? Surely not a measure for the gold medal.
Well, he certainly took the shot out, but he's moved his own bowl. He's just stood his own bowl up onto its running surface. It was sitting down. This is the Bellis fire. Absolutely on target. Great bowl. Snicks out the Wood bowl, turns his own bowl up, and it's a measure of a shot for the World Championship.
This is quite incredible. The new sonic measure put in position. Can you believe it? 20 all and a measure for the world title. The umpire's not happy with what he's seeing.
This is the first time that these sonic measures have been used, tried out for the first time in this World Championship. And the marker deciding that he will resort to the more conventional measure. And I think some relief there to all the players. I think they will prefer the human touch at this stage.
Jim Muir is the umpire, the man entrusted with the job of measuring for the gold medal. Peter Bellis and Willie Wood have already exchanged a handshake. Whatever happens, they have played in one epic game of bowls. We'll see as soon as anyone will. It's Bellis. Peter Bellis of New Zealand is the world singles champion. His teammates can't believe it. What a fighting, gutsy performance by this former rugby union forward. He looked absolutely dead and buried after Wood had cut him up from 11-3 to lead 14-11, 19-16. But Peter Bellis is the world singles champion. I don't think he can believe it himself. And that must go down as one of the greatest games of bowls anyone can ever have witnessed. And poor disconsolate Willie Wood, he treated us to some quite exhibition stuff in the middle of the game. But in the end, it was a measure which deprives him of the gold. Wood will take silver. Here's the last bowl of this championship once again. Bellis had fired to save the game twice. Now he does it to win. Takes out the shot ball, moves his own, but not enough. And if that ball had toppled over fully, I'm sure it would be Willie Wood taking the congratulations.
One's bound to feel a great deal of sympathy for Willie Wood. There were several stages during that game when he almost had it in the bag. It escaped him, but what a way to lose a world title, on a measure by a fraction of an inch. Poor Willie Wood.
There was a game that when both players held game shot. I thought Willie was a little unfortunate, but all credit to Peter Bellis, if only for his accuracy of his driving.